Are you ready for 2026?
For the first Cimo of the new year, I'm kind of disappointed. That was pretty lackluster, but that's okay. That's okay. I am ready for 2026.
Unbelievable. You know what? Some people go into January like a freight train. I'm kind of just squeaking into January. I'm like, I'm here. It's like a hangover. Like I'm working my way through a hangover. But this is my first recording session of the new year, so consider yourself, we're a special boy. Yes.
I'm so humble. I'm honored that you chose me. You said squeaking, by the way. I hope that doesn't mean we're reviewing more mice cards that should be banned.
Are there any mice involved? Well, kinda. I don't know.
Oh,
you can tell me what you think about these cards and if they are banned, because that's a beautiful transition. We are reviewing new cards from Lorwyn Eclipsed, the first set of the year, launching in January, so right around the corner. And a lot of these cards have just been debuted, so not a lot of takes out there on these. Let's see if we can get ahead of the game.
Yeah, let's get ahead and get the worst takes out there before everyone else.
Abso-freaking-lutely. So,
what's the lore of Lorwyn? Like what are we? What's the
Let me get
setting?
out my brand-approved marketing guide here. Lorwyn. Lorwyn is a mystical, whimsical, fairy tale inspired plane that has like two kind of sides to it. There is the Lorwyn side where things are it's daytime and things are nice and cute and adorable. And then there's the nighttime where things are Shadowmoor is the name of the other side of the kind of plane where things are dark and creepy at all times. So there a lot of the duality of light and darkness, order, chaos, if you will.
Does that mean we have flip cards?
And not shadow.
You know, light, dark. We seen some of those?
Jesus, do you want to design the sets now? Do you want to design the whole thing? You wouldn't be too bad at it.
It seemed flavorful. I always have wanted to be a designer. I'm not gonna lie. I do love game design.
I think you do a great job for what that's worth. But yeah, I would love to have some clever swerve, but when you're just figuring everything out already, we'll get right into it. So your first card is right here. Let's read this beauty double-sider.
Okay, we got Ashling Rekindled. It's a 1 and a red for a 1/3 legend elemental sorcerer. Whenever this creature enters or transforms into Ashling Rekindled, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Oh, I see there's blue in here. That's why you're showing it to me. Yes. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay blue. If you do, transform it. Okay, so it's just blue to transform. And it goes into Ashling Rhymebound, I want to say. Yeah, which is still a 1/3. It's an elemental wizard now, not a sorcerer. I don't know if that matters. And it's whenever this creature transforms into Rhymebound at the beginning of your first main phase. Okay, that's a stipulation. Add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 4 or greater. Okay, they put a stipulation on it at least. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay red if you do transform Ashling. Okay, so you're telling me that blue-red decks have been the best decks for a century, and they made another blue-red card that seems really good. Interesting. I guess we're never ending the era of Is It in that case. Let's see. When it ends, so 2 to play it, you immediately discard and draw, so you get some cycling. And then when it's transformed back, you get to do that again. And then it has to be at the beginning of your first main phase. Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually started... is this new for Magic at the beginning of your first main phase, or has Magic done this before?
It's not new, but it is in magical history terms relatively new. I think they started using it a year or two ago on cards.
Gotcha. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been doing this for... longer than a couple years, I want to say. It was something that they started exploring as well. And I like it just because it's like, it has to be the first thing you do, right? Otherwise, you just can't do it.
You do get to start, you untap, you draw your card, and then this is the first thing you have to attend to. The first thing you do in your main phase. And I think that that's intentional, because I think if they could do one thing different with Magic, I think if there's something in Magic that they consider a mistake, it's not the lands, Rarin. It's very much like the upkeep. The upkeep is a clunky phase that comes right after untap, but before draw. I think that they'd prefer that they didn't have upkeep, that you just untapped and drew your card to start your turn, and then have your upkeep type effects go off. And that's what Ashling is doing.
It's interesting because, like, in Yu-Gi-Oh, our upkeep is after our draw. I don't think that really matters that much, but just something to note. So 2 mana, you play this. What's interesting is that you can't transform it the turn you play it. You have to at least wait a whole turn, because that would not be the first action of your turn.
Right.
So you have to go 2 mana, play it. You discard draw, sure. And then you have to wait a whole turn to pay a blue to transform. At this point, let's say you're just going 1 land a turn. You're going to 3 lands. So you pay blue to transform. When she transforms, you get 2 mana of any color. And because you still have 2 lands that you haven't used, presumably this turn, that means you could theoretically ramp yourself to cast a 4 mana spell on turn 3. Interesting. And it's a spell, so it could be a creature as well, right? Because spell is anything for the most part. It's not a land. Okay.
Yep.
So you could hypothetically then get out like a 4 mana creature or something. That's interesting. And then it's like, the longer this stays out, then it's like, okay, next turn you go into turn 4, then you have 6 mana, because you don't have to spend the 1 mana to transform, because at the beginning of the first main phase, you're adding the 2 of any color. So then it's like you go to 6 to be able to cast, as again, it has to be 4 or greater, which is like the biggest question mark here. I guess
Downside,
it's like, as long as you have,
I guess, yeah.
As long as you have the outlet. Like, if you don't have the outlet, then the mana doesn't really do you any good, right? So
that's true.
Interesting card. I mean, I think as long as you have the outlet for it, this is really powerful. But I think that's like the biggest issue with it. What are like some of the best like red, blue, 4 mana spells right now? I guess.
Let me check really quick. Transform at the beginning of your first main phase. 2 mana, 1 color. Any color. Okay, it doesn't even have to be red or blue.
It doesn't have to be red or blue, but I'm just assuming you're throwing this in a red-blue deck.
My first thought about the mana base going in standard, going into the use of this card. By the way, standard video, guys. I think you can probably have any colors you want. Like, I think the mana is fine for 4 or 5 color decks right now. You still have Starting Town, you still have Multiversal Passage, you have all of the shock lands legal in standard right now, as well as the Verge lands are very good. It's, man. So yeah, as far as like the best red or blue cards that are seeing play, they're all cheaper than 4 mana, which is why this probably doesn't fit into a traditional Is It deck. Like the Is It Lessons deck, for example, doesn't have anything over 3 mana at all.
I remember you showing me that. Yeah, because like I was trying to recall if there was anything from that deck that you showed me that was expensive, and I couldn't think of anything.
I think this is a different card. My first thought on this is like, this is a turn 3 Zombify and the outlet to discard whatever the giant monster is. So Zombify being like a reanimate just any creature from graveyard to battlefield. And this thing doing the discard work of throwing the giant monster in your bin for you and then flipping the next turn and casting the spell that gets it back. This is ramping colors that aren't supposed to have it to do things earlier than you're supposed to be able to do them.
So maybe you play in like a red, blue, black deck, for instance, and then it's like, then you can have access to that. I could see it. Are there other cards that would just be better at doing that? But I guess this does it all in one.
No, they don't cheat mana as well. Like, that's kind of unseen. Like, Charm Scoundrel is a card that can either discard a card and draw, or can make a treasure. It can ramp, or it can do. It doesn't do both. This is, and not only that, it's like, so you picture any big bad in the format, and there are some amazing ones. Might even be showing you some in a second. But there are some pretty amazing big bads in the format. If, like, sure, they can interact by removing the Ashling, but you're still, if you have the Zombify, you're just going to do it a turn later anyway. And they have to take their turn off to remove this because there isn't much good removal in this damn format. Yeah. Wow.
And the longer that Ashling stays out too, like, it just becomes annoying because it's like you have like pseudo ramp every single turn unless your opponent deals with it, right? So it's like you're almost, as long as your opponent can use the mana, you're always 2 mana behind at that point. So I don't know that, like, I think there's a deck for this. It just depends on like if the pieces come together for it.
I'm already looking at it as like, well, decks that do succeed sometimes in standard, like a Reanimator deck actually did make the top 8 of Worlds.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at this like your Superior Spider-Man or your Zombify type effect on turn 3, if not interrupted. And they're like, well, maybe those decks don't play red. I think the mana is totally fine. I think that this is going to go right into those decks.
Okay.
Will it see play in any other decks? I'm not sure. I'm not sure
either.
I'll fire off the new year. I'm going to rate it as I don't think it makes or breaks those decks, and I don't think it's going to get banned, but I think it's like a solid 3. It's a good card.
I was thinking 3. Yeah.
Yeah. 3.
Oh, by the way,
Aisling.
we're rating these 1 to 5.
Yeah, I was totally gonna. You want to do my job? You can tell them what. No. 5 is that it can be banned.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me see if I can remember.
Oh,
5 is a banned contender. 4 is a what do you call it? Like a playmaker, like a role play or something like that. And then like,
you know
what
what's
did you
funny?
call it?
I don't remember, but Libby has it. Libby knows.
Oh, excellent.
Libby knows right now who's right and who's wrong. It's very funny.
And then I forget the rest. I think 3 is like it's fine. Like it might be like a 1 or a 2 of or something. And then 2 is maybe it's like super niche, and then 1 is like it's unplayable.
It's on the screen right now, so people are laughing at us. They get it, but yes, that's basically it. I'm sure you nailed it.
It's good.
100% nailed it. All right, let's check out a big bad.
Aurora Awakener, 6 and green for a giant druid. It's giant, all right. It's a lot of mana. 7/7. Trample. Vivid. This looks like a new keyword. When this creature enters, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X permanent cards, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Put any number of those permanent cards onto the battlefield, then put the rest of the reveal on the bottom of your library in a random order. I got to read that again. When it enters, reveal cards from the top to reveal X permanents. Has to be permanent. So permanents is anything that is not land is a permanent. So it's just not a instant or a sorcery.
Yes.
Okay. Where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Question on that. I'm assuming a land doesn't count as a color for this, or does it?
A land doesn't count as a color. That's correct.
Okay.
Man, is there a way to give land traditionally? I'm trying to think if there's a way to get colored lands.
What if you
earthbend
it? If you earthbend the land, does it technically have red?
No.
Okay. Hey, I'm trying. Hey,
no,
I'm trying to break
it's
this card. I mean, you should be happy I remembered earthbending. You know, I'm surprised I remembered earthbending. I thought earthbending was fucking cool. That's why. Anyway, okay, so you're trying to play this in a multicolor type deck then, because you're trying to like go crazy. I'm also assuming I'm really getting into the weeds on this one. Does the like colorless Eldrazi, does that not count as a color?
It's not a color, no.
Okay, I didn't think so. I figured I'd ask.
So just in case you're getting concerned, no, don't put it in your Eldrazi deck, okay?
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Put any number of those, so you can pick any number of those permanent cards onto the battlefield and put the rest of the reveal in the bottom. Okay, so if you have 3 colors, you reveal till you hit 3 permanents, and then you can put any of those onto the battlefield, and then you put the rest on the bottom. So hypothetically, in this pipe dream that we had with the other card, we dump Aurora Awakener into the graveyard, then we reanimate it, and then that triggers it, and then number of colors among permanents. I'm really getting to the weeds on this.
Yeah, bring it on.
Does the pay blue in Aisling Rekindled count as a color towards the card? I'm assuming no. Okay. I'm thinking like Commander. That's why that was on my brain.
Color and color identity are weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So, okay. Yeah. So in our pipe dream, you go like play the Ashen Awakener or whatever thing. Ashen Rekindled, excuse me. You dump this, then next turn you play a way to reanimate it, But then you'd only have 2 colors because green would count itself. So it's at minimum 1. You'd have red for 2. And then if you maybe played something on turn 1, that's a different color altogether. Like maybe you have 3.
And yeah, those things would go onto the battlefield.
Huh. I just realized if you hit another Aurora Awakener with this, you can trigger it, right?
Yeah, because it's enters. That's right. Or a way to flicker this.
Interesting.
So, like a creature that exiles and returns this immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. Aurora Awakener to Aurora Awakener sounds fun. That just sounds exciting.
Oh, yeah. Or a clone effect. Anything that makes a copy of the Awakener does it again. Mm-hmm.
It's still so funny to me because like flickering and cloning is just something that like Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't really do, which is like design space technically, but it's so weird because it's so simple, but we just don't do it that often. Anyway,
I really want to show you one more card. It's legal for I think one more year.
Sure. Leyline of the Guild Pack. This has got to be the craziest mana requirement you've ever shown me on a card.
Yeah, describe it. Describe it for the fans. They can read it. It's probably fine.
It's hybrid green-white, hybrid green-blue, hybrid black-green, hybrid. It's basically, you can use 4 green or any other color. And even that's probably inaccurate. Anyway, this is an enchantment. It says, if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. I think this is really cool. I think this is also something Yu-Gi-Oh could do because we don't really have anything that does this. Yeah, because there are things you can use on like the beginning of your game, like certain hand traps and stuff. But I think this type of effect is something that would be really interesting to explore for our game. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Oh! How convenient. Okay. And lands you control are every basic land type in addition to the other types. So basically, if you have this, you could guarantee Awakener for 5, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you even have to do that, though? Like, that kind of...
that seems a little extra to you?
I mean, if you hit it off Awakener to bring it in for free anyway... then like who cares, right? Because then your next Awakener could hit for 5. If you have the absolute dream of Awakener into Leyline plus Awakener again, like that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's so Disneyland. I think this card's really good. I think this card is this is definitely like a really solid like build around how can we break this type of card? Because like all the questions I've been asking, my brain is trying to figure out like all the things to do with this. I think this is a solid 4. I don't know if it's like a ban contender necessarily, but I think definitely a 4.
Card is a pure banger for an enters trigger. I'm kind of amazed they printed it the way they did.
How do you think they like? What would you have expected, or how would you have expected them to print
if this was cast? If you cast this from your hand, you get this trigger. Like this trigger on an enters is crazy because anytime it's an enters trigger, you have to assume that you can achieve this for 1 or 2 mana using blink effects, like you said that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't really do. So
or revival, that's like the main thing I was thinking.
Yeah. Also reanimation. Yep. Those you can assume are going to cost around 4, but blink effects around 2 is like, oh crap.
Right.
Ways to really cheat these effects and get these enters triggers again and again, right? And clone effects that are often like 4 mana for those. Oh my gosh. Sure. So yeah, I think that there will definitely be an Aurora Awakener, like especially early in a format. I 100% a Gyruda level theme deck around Aurora Awakener that's just trying to spew its whole deck in one turn. And that will be the extreme version that runs like Leyline.
This is also just like a YouTube combo like deck for sure.
Oh yeah, this is a content deck. That's what this is.
This is like you post this day 1 when the set comes out and gets like 100k views because everyone wants to see how you high roll with this card.
Yes. Yeah. This is the lifeblood of the content creator. But
fun card.
It is a very fun card. I think there is definitely going to be like a refined version, you know?
Yeah,
it is a real threat. There's a lot of things you can reanimate from the graveyard, and does this plus Bringer of the New Dawn, like, do you choose between the two? No, you say, why not both? Like you say, why not also this with that, so that it's even more likely that you win the game that turn? Because this could just indefinitely pop off. It's kind of insane. So,
and honestly, one resolution of it might just be enough to win the game because you just like you hit. I'm not even saying high roll, but like say if the deck's built correctly and you just hit like what on average you're expecting, like you might just win in that position because you just get 3 permanents that are just like insane and your opponent just can't deal with it.
Yeah, the floor on this card is like really good.
And the ceiling is infinite.
If it only got one thing, it's a 7/7 trample. That can sometimes win a game, and you wouldn't just want a 7/7 plus a random land from your deck. I think the fact that it can hit lands, by the way, is one of the only things that keeps it in somewhat in check. But,
right. Yeah. But even then, if you're kind of happy to like, okay, I hit lands, like, great, you just ranked yourself, like, especially if you cheated it, right? Like, you don't care, you know? This is a card I see in an Ash thumbnail, like, complaining about, like, in 4 weeks.
Oh, God. Yeah, she loves unfair magic. So, for me, Aurora Awakener, also, like, this is a very powerful card. It doesn't, I think people might think it's a Timmy card on the surface.
But it's exciting.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
in limited, this card is going to be bonkers.
Is nuts. Yeah. This is like immediate, like pack one, pick one for sure.
Oh yeah, four for the Aurora. Hell yeah. We're gonna keep hitting the bangers here. Let's stick with a Vivid card.
So Vivid's like the keyword of the set.
It's one of the keywords of the set. Yeah, I'll introduce you to the other two in a minute.
Okay. This is Bloom Tender. This is 1 and a green for a 1/1 elf druid with Vivid. You tap it for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. Okay. So you can't do this the turn you play it because of Summoning Sickness, but basically you throw this out, and if it lives, then technically if you played a 1-drop that was not green the turn prior, on your next turn you have like 5 mana, hypothetically, and then it just, similar to the other card, if it just sticks around, it just keeps going. That seems really good. That ramp is it's not ramp, it's like pseudo ramp, but it's a ramp. It's a mana dork that goes for more than 1, which, like, can you really complain about that? I think that sounds pretty good. This is probably gonna be the backbone of a lot of decks playing green for the foreseeable future, because I don't know why you like wouldn't want to play this. It is kind of weak, but again, it's kind of one of those things where, okay, you go play Bloom Tender and your opponent's like, well, I could ignore this, or if I don't, I just lose the game next turn.
Yeah. Yep. So, could be quite explosive. Yes.
Seems very good. I give this a 4. Seems good.
Ooh, okay.
Not really
4.
much to say. Not really much to say. It seems like a solid card.
Straightforward, solid. It is a reprint, and it's one of the more exciting reprints in the set, being reprinted at Mythic as well. It's a very chase card, mostly because of Commander. In Commander, I was about to say,
is this like Commander? When you said reprint, I'm like, oh, this is Commander written all over it.
Oh, yeah. Bloom Tender in Commander is a pretty popular card because it is just a mana dork, but it is part of many infinite combos in Commander in 5-color decks.
Because you can like tap and untap it. Interesting.
Yep. If you have an effect that untaps it for 3 mana, and you have 4 colors, it goes
theoretically you're always going
in whatever
+1
color you need. Yep. So, Bloom Tender is a CDH pedigree card in Commander.
Ooh, okay. Gotta write that one down for the future.
Yeah. But I'm honestly not sure about Standard. I'm
really?
less
think it's too
hyped
slow?
On Standard. I don't think it's too slow. I think that its competition is very powerful. So
there's the mole.
The Badger Mole Cub is fighting for the same spot, which is a big deal. And I don't, obviously with Llanowar Elves in the format, people are into that. So they have some taste of Mana Dork at 1. Bloom Tender requiring additional colors is pretty, like, it can often get 2 mana, and those decks are running a lot of like Spider Manifestation and Tender Wild Guide, which are mana dorks that tap for color, but they also have bigger effects than that. Manifestation is a 2/2 that untaps when you cast something that is 4 or greater, so it can produce multiple mana in the same color. And Wild Guide has Offspring, which means you can make a copy of it. These are all like 2 mana for a body that taps for mana, but they also have more abilities than that because Wild Guide's also a 2/2. So
Bloom Tender is just like all mana,
it's all mana.
Other addition, which is fine.
I'm much lower on it for Standard. There will probably be a deck for it at some point, but it does require like just the way that standard is right now, I don't think people will go straight to tender. So I'm actually giving it a 2 for standard.
Interesting.
I know. I'm I'm not a believer. It's a commander banger and it'll sell the set, but I'm not sure it's here because of its prowess in standard. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Sure. Was it an expensive card prior to this announcement?
It's probably still an expensive card after this announcement because it's a mythic. Like it's still going to be a very hard card to acquire. But yeah, Bloom Tender is one of those cards that's always in that 20 to 40 range, depending on the last time they reprinted it.
Because it has like one printing. Yeah, I see.
All right.
I mean, good for the commander players to get a reprint. That's nice.
Oh yeah, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. There's another beautiful keyword for the set. It has actually a reprint one. You might have seen it before.
This is Bloodline Binding, 6 and 2 black. Whoa, that's expensive for a sorcery. Convoke. Yes, this does sound familiar. For people who don't know, though, your creatures can help cast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting this spell pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's color. And the effect of this is choose a creature type, return all creature cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is a soul charge for a specific type of creature. Interesting. This isn't a reprint either, right? Or is it?
No, it's definitely a callback to an older card called Patriarch's Bidding that had a fun deck back in the day, but it's a very different card.
I think I called it Bloodline Binding, not Bidding. Excuse me on that one. Yu-Gi-Oh player. I can't read. Typical. Pretty cool card. It's interesting because I like this. This would be interesting. This would probably still be too broken in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like any mass resurrection effect in Yu-Gi-Oh! Typically gets banned. Things Soul Charge, Return from the Different Dimension, Dimension Fusion, like all of them just get banned. I like it because it's like only a certain type. So it's like you get this really cool effect. You have to play this in like a creatures heavy deck because obviously you're not paying 8 mana for this. Like you would just play something else. And it's neat because it incentivizes, like, I love when cards incentivize you to build the deck in a certain way. And like, that's like, this is like a payoff for doing so. It's like, oh, cool. You build elves, right? Because we just saw the Bloom Tender. That was an elf, right?
Yep.
It was, yeah. So it's like, oh, I'm playing elves. Okay, cool. So I have mana ramp and I have all the same type. And now I get to play this big resurrection spell that probably wins me the game when I cast it. I like it. I think it's cool. Is that like going to see play? I guess it just depends on like the mono-type decks that are around at this point. So like what are the mono-type decks that are in standard at the moment and or coming out, if you can give me that information?
Yeah, I mean, solid question. Spider-Man had 40 different spider-human heroes.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
That is very much supported. I had to go there. Allies are a major type out of Avatar. It is so funny to do this. I have to do this by Universes Beyond set. Wizards are a big deal in Final Fantasy.
Okay.
So those are, God, it's really dumb to do Universes Beyond this way. But that is the first thing I think of.
There were the mice.
Mice in Bloomborough were a big deal. In fact, there are the 10 types in Bloomborough. But probably most importantly, and what people really want me to say, in Lorwyn is a typal kindred set. That means that
so that's like the focus.
Yeah, there is a big focus on certain types. And the types in Lorwyn that I know are well supported are elves, elementals, fairies, merfolk, and kithkin. Those are the majorly supported types. Now, from that, what's really important is whether or not it receives support in other sets as well. And elementals are very highly supported throughout Magic. So are elves, and fairies right now are double supported because fairies were a major type in Eldraine, Wilds of Eldraine, which is still legal.
Got it. So cool card, especially if there's a lot of just like tribal synergy.
Oh, goblins. I forgot to mention goblins. I always forget to mention goblins.
I think I want to give this a 2 though, because I feel like even if there's a deck for it, I feel like you're probably only going to play like one of this anyway as kind of like your finisher. I can't see a world where you're just like going, turn 2, turn 3, you're swarming the field and then like everything has to die, right? Or you have to find a way to like load your graveyard, which there could be ways. and then you go like, try to convoke this on like turn 4 or 5 to like bring a bunch of stuff out. Maybe I just can't imagine you playing like 4 copies of this. And that's like, there's like the bloodline bidding deck. That's just like, I feel like it's just too costly, and convoke requires you to just have the creatures like already established. That just seems too much. This just seems like a finisher to me. So like, I want to give it, it's a cool card. But I think it's probably like a 2 in my eyes.
Okay. I'm going to show you a card, and let me know. Did I show you this card before?
Let's see. Raise the Past. This doesn't sound familiar. 2 and 2 white for a sorcery. Return all creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This does not sound familiar. Okay. Cool art. This card is a popular best of 1 deck. Like and a pretty strong one at times in the meta, which is it is very good at just throwing a bunch of stuff into its graveyard and getting it all back. And it runs 4 copies of Raise the Past as its like way to kill you. But I feel like this is a lot cheaper though. And you don't have to convoke your stuff. I think that's 2 big differences. So what I'm looking at, maybe I get to do it. Something you may have missed. You don't get to do it often. The timing in Magic is you can pay the convoke cost of your bloodline bidding and put it on the stack. And then in response, you can sacrifice your board to some positive effect. And there are positive effects in the format that like also help you fill the graveyard from that position, which is what makes Raise the Past so good. Is you would often sack all your board, then Raise the Past, get your whole board back. Bloodline bidding, you can use the creatures on board because the Raise the Past decks are usually like 30 plus creatures. So same thing with bidding is you pay the convoke cost by tapping these creatures. You put the bidding on the stack, you hold priority, and then in response to your own bidding, sack your board. And all of those things you sacked come back. And if you also like added to your graveyard in the process, you get even more back. And if you have death benefits, you get the death benefits. Which this ties really well into vampires specifically. Sephiroth is often like a finisher in those kind of decks. And he's not a vampire, but he can also pay that convoke cost because any creature can pay the convoke cost. I'm pretty high on the bidding. This looks like a pretty saucy card. And that's not counting some things we'll see from elementals here, where I think elemental bidding might be really good too. I have a feeling that vampire bidding or goblin bidding, which is what the Patriarch's bidding was back in the day, could be very good. This card scares me a bit, especially the whole priority trick that people aren't going to know right away. Also, elves. I think this is going to go really well with elves in this set. For context, too, like that holding priority example, that's just something you can't do in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that wouldn't have occurred to me in the slightest. That definitely puts it up more for me. But like even so, I still feel like I will happily wait for you to send me the video of this deck being a thing. I look forward to seeing it. Oh yeah, especially in the early weeks, I think this will do well, and I think it'll just be a stalker in the meta. I'm gonna give this. Am I giving this another 4? I gave the Awakener. I was gonna say, are you gonna go 4 on this? Do you know the Awakener and Bloom Tender are both druids? Maybe there's a druid bidding. Ooh, that's something I don't think we've really seen. I mean, if it's a meta deck, it should be a 4. Because I don't think it's a 1 of. I think it's a 4 of in the deck that wants it. I guess when you look at it in the context of the Awakener, like if you're going to play a revival spell, like you have Bloodline bidding. So, I don't know if that's the best version of it, but you can bring back multiple Awakeners. Think about it. I mean, that's true. And you kind of want like cards of different colors. So you want you want creatures to pay your convoke cost. Fuck it. Give me a 4. Give me a 4 on Bloodline bidding. Let's make this a deck, guys. Let's do our work, internet. Let's do this. All right. Let's see it. All right. Cool card though. I mean, cool card. I don't hate the card. I personally feel like it's more of a finisher. But I'll happily be surprised. All right, let's cover another mechanic from the set because people in the audience love to learn the mechanics through these videos. I also love to learn the mechanics of these videos. Wow, cool art. Dawnhand Dissident, excuse me. Dawnhand Dissident. This is a black for a 1/2 elf warlock. That has tap for Blight 1, Surveil 1. There's no text here, so what is Blight? Yeah, why isn't it not even giving me the reminder text? Fortunately, I am an in the know Magic pro, and I have been told what Blight 1 does. Just take my word for it.
When you blight one, you have a -1/-1 counter just hovers down from the sky and materializes in front of you. And you have to decide which of your creatures receives this -1/-1 counter.
Okay, so it doesn't have to go on the dissident necessarily. It can go anywhere on your board.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, so that's why this is a 1/2, because basically you make this an 0/1 to surveil. Okay, and surveil, I believe, is you look at the top card, you can graveyard it or put it back on top, right?
This was a terrible card to pick. I did not realize how many keywords. But yes, you got it. You nailed it.
I remember, because surveil, I remember thinking, I'm like, wow, if Yu-Gi-Oh had this would be crazy. Okay, then you can blight 2, which kills this if you use it on the dissident. And you have to tap. Sorry, you have to tap and blight 2. Exile target card from a graveyard. Now, the -1/-1, it's a counter, right? So it stays. It's permanent. Okay, yes. So you could hypothetically blight 1 over the course of 2 turns on this to surveil 2. Okay. All right. We haven't even gotten to the other part of this card. During your turn, you may cast creature spells from among cards you own exiled with this creature by removing 3 counters from among creatures you control in addition to paying their other costs. I got to read that again. Your turn. You can cast creatures from among cards you own, so it's only your stuff, exiled with this specific creature by removing 3 counters from among creatures you control in addition to paying their other costs. So you get to anything exiled with this gets to come back at the cost of the card and 3 counters, which is interesting because it means you remove the blight counters from anything and you can keep this around and keep going. This card is revenge for Link monsters, by the way. Thank you. Honestly, I think it's fair because there's a lot of complexity with this card. So, and it's cool because it fuels itself. Because the first effect, you can dump stuff into the grave. The second effect lets you exile it to then fuel the third effect to let you bring the stuff back while also removing the blight counters, which you would presumably, by that point, have the 3 you need if you use the first 2 effects, because they would be somewhere else on the board. As long as you put them on something else on the board, yeah. On something else, yeah. You'd have to blight 1 this, blight 2 something else, and then, yeah. That's a lot of work. And you also have to tap it, too, so it's kind of slow in that regard. Now, you could, if we're talking about the Aurora Awakener, right? You yes, could go. You could go blight 2 this, exile the Awakener, and then you are allowed to cast it if you remove counters and. Oh no! But actually, I feel like this has to be on the board. It has to be on the board, so that wouldn't work. Got to put the counters on something else or pull the counters from something else. But there are a lot of cards that just show up with counters. It doesn't have to be the -1/-1 counters. Yeah, no. And I'm not looking at it just through that lens. I'm trying to just think of how do you squeeze the value out of this in the least amount of time? I'm trying to think of a world where you play this, immediately blight 2 to exile something, and then immediately can then bring it back because you have 2 counters from the blight 2 effect. So you have to have a third counter somewhere, but then you still have to pay the cost of the actual card. Okay, this is getting very complicated. Can you convoke for a thing that is exiled? That's allowed to be cast. What? Convoke? Where's the convoke coming from? Say you can... I don't know. Say there's a thing that says you can convoke stuff anything, right? Could you hypothetically convoke for a thing that's in exile that's allowed to be cast? If it has convoke, sure. The card has to have convoke. Okay, got it. Okay. What a weird card. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this one. I'm not feeling it. I feel like it's just too many hoops to jump through. Okay. Because you need to have the counters, which, like you said, there are other things that produce counters, but even then, you still need the counters in order to bring the thing back, and you still have to pay the cost of the thing. It's not like the thing just comes into play for free, right? So it's not like you get to cheat it out at all either. So I don't know. I'm not feeling this. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is a crazy amount of text for a 1-drop that is also an elf, so it fits right into a deck. And I'm kind of tempted to just like it based on the first 2 abilities and look at the last ability as flavor text. Because what it's saying to me is for 1 mana, I get a 1/2 in my tribe. I can tap it at some point at instant speed to get a surveil out of something. So if they target my other elf if they target my Bloom Tender to kill it, and I, in response, blight it and get to surveil. It
and just get some value out of it.
I just get something out of that creature dying. It's also a dies trigger on command. So if you have something that, like, say, draws you a card when an elf dies, you can just make an elf die with the blight ability.
Sure.
And I think what I like most about it is for 1 mana, you just get a 1/2 that sits on the board with this blight 2 at instant speed available to nerf a graveyard, because the graveyard decks are very real and they are a big problem. And when the opponent puts the like 3 or 4 mana reanimation like jutsu on the stack that's going to end the game, which is very much a thing that happens every day in Best of One, if you just have something you could get down for 1 mana that stops it from happening, that is very good for you. So it's kind of like a card that it's very unassuming in the fact that like your opponent plays it and you're like, I don't need to immediately kill this, but as the game goes on, this is just going to become annoying. Is that like kind of where this is at? In the right matchups, it's a floodgate of its own, because anytime they try to use their graveyard against you, you can respond by nuking it. And in the matchups where it's just a 1 mana 1/2, that's fine, but it's a 1 mana 1/2 that gets you surveilling somewhere throughout the game with good timing, and that can come up. You know, that can definitely be a thing that matters. So
it's more like the final effect is more like, if the planets align and there's a reason to use that effect, you do, but it's more just like you could ignore that and this card might still just provide a recurring amount of value over the course of multiple turns.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a 4 of, but I mean, I could definitely see it being like a 1 or 2 of. It plays well in the Roots decks, which are always something people are trying to build a card around, a card called Insidious Roots, which is basically like when something leaves your graveyard, good thing happen for you. Yu-Gi-Oh players would love it. So this is another card that fits there. It has multiple homes. I don't know if any of them are like, here, I need 4 of this card right away. So I think it's a role player. I think it's a solid 3 for my little Dawn Hand friend. That's what it is for me.
I think it convinced me. I think like as you explain it more and more, like I get it. And I think it's hard because again, getting out of the Yu-Gi-Oh brain, it's like, there's no world where we'd have that much time to squeeze the value out of a card like this.
Well, we don't get level 4 monsters on turn 1 for absolutely nothing. Okay. We have to work for our value here.
To be fair, in like older Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually think this card might be kind of cool. And the fact that like you can just always like mill a card every turn and then also like just snipe a card out of a graveyard. Like there could be some use in a card like this in like old Yu-Gi-Oh, but nowadays like this card would be unplayable. So I was going to give it a 2 initially. You talked me into a 3, but I'll stay with 2 out of principle because that's what my guess was before you convinced me.
So we can come back to it later and one of us can be right and one of us can be wrong.
Exactly. Because that's more important.
But don't worry, all of you in the comments are always right because you're in the comments.
They're always right.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know how they do it.
It's impressive, really.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more mechanic for the set.
Deceit. This is 4 and 2 hybrid mana of blue and black. So 6 all in for an elemental incarnation. It is a 5/5. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, but you talk about Yu-Gi-Oh art. This is
Crab Serpent?
Crab Serpent? Yeah, that's what the typing should have been on this.
Yeah.
Okay. When this creature enters, if blue was spent to cast it, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Now, let me finish reading, then I have a question.
Okay.
When this creature enters, if black was spent to cast it, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Ooh, hand destruction, my favorite.
It's over.
And then it's over. Yep, banned. No. And then it has evoke for double blue black hybrid mana. So evoke, if I recall, this is my test. Evoke is you can play it for 2, or the cost of the evoke cost. And then it immediately dies, right? But because it entered, it still gets the effect. Am I correct?
Yep. When you cast a card for its evoke cost, you immediately get a trigger put on the stack that requires you to sacrifice that card.
Got it. Okay.
Enter's abilities do trigger, so do Die's abilities.
Okay. And the question that I had earlier is not relevant anymore, so it answered itself. So basically, if you evoke it, you're evoking it for double of blue or black because you want it to get the effect. Otherwise, it just dies instantly.
You better be. Yeah.
Excuse me. It's going to die instantly anyway, but you won't get any value out of it. So basically, now here's a question. Can you evoke at instant speed?
Only if the creature itself has flash or the spell is an instant.
Okay, so basically either at sorcery speed, you get to bounce a non-land permanent, or you get to look at their hand and rip a card. Then, if for whatever reason you cast this for 6, which, I mean, maybe in the late game you would, you could do both, because you're paying blue, and black. Am I correct?
And you keep your 5/5.
And you keep the 5/5. Yeah, so you actually get a thing out of it. Thank you. Okay. I think you showed me a card, because we always talk about hand destruction being the cardinal sin in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think you showed me a card like way back that was kind of similar to this. And I don't remember if it got banned or not, but I remember it being very good. So I'm sort of getting flashbacks to that card. But 2 mana to look at your opponent's hand and rip something. In your game, I think that's fine. 2 blue, having the flexibility to make it that it's like, if you don't care about the hand, you can just bounce something. That's kind of cool. It immediately goes to the graveyard. So then it's like you have graveyard synergies. It's also an enter trigger. So, but the difference is you can't cast, if you're reviving it, it doesn't get its effect. It's just a 5/5. So that's the counterbalance there. Interesting card. I like the flexibility on it, because it's like, what's cool about this is that it has early and late game potential. It's like in the early game, if you want to look at your opponent's hand and get the knowledge, cool. If you want to bounce something, cool. But then like later on, you can just play this as a big thing and get both effects. So then you get some value out of it and get a 5/5. So it's nice. It has like early and late game utility for being an expensive card. Because if it's a cheap card, you can cast it whenever. But being an expensive card, that's really nice. Like that flexibility is really good. And I recall, what is the card? The Boomerang?
Boomerang Basics. Yeah.
Yeah, that card was very good.
Yeah, that is a sorcery, so there's no stack you can make to bounce this if you evoke it with Boomerang Basics. You can do it with instants. So if you have an instant that is Boomerang Basics-ish, you could put Deceit down, pay that cost, get that effect for 2 mana, and then bounce it and have it to use later before sacrificing it.
I'm just thinking of the value that Boomerang Basics just offered generally, because that's basically like what's tied to this card. So, I mean, you have that and more, essentially. So now it's like you have 8 Boomerang Basics, which is funny. I think this card's cool. I think it's kind of hard to see like a downside here, really. Has good early game potential, like late game, it gives you something to do. You're always going to have like a use for it, because even if it's like the mid game, you can still bounce stuff with it. So it's like you kind of like skip your opponent's turn if they go all in on like a big thing. Or if you're afraid of a combo piece, you cast it for double black, and that way you can rip out the combo piece so they can't kill you. A lot of value. I don't really know like the deck that this like belongs in necessarily. But I think it's a cool card. I would give this like I give it like a 3. I give it a 3.
It solves a lot of demure problems, especially for the type of card types it's talking about. So like, we're bouncing.
What are demure problems?
Yeah, blue-black problems specifically. They have trouble dealing with some permanents. Like they have no way whatsoever to deal with an artifact, for example, and very few ways to deal with an enchantment. But if you cast Deceit for 6, you can bounce that and make them discard it, because you can get both effects. So that's kind of cool.
Does it work like that? That's cool. That's neat. I didn't even pick up on that.
Any problem, any non-land
so
problem.
Are both of those effects put onto the stack separately?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both enters triggers. They're separate enters triggers.
That's cool.
So you can
That's
stack
really cool.
them to resolve the blue one first and the black one second. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But you have to pay.
I like that.
Yeah, you have to pay the whole 6, but it works.
Sure.
The thing I like, I guess, most about it in terms of just using it like a spell is in the early game when you're playing blue-black, if you have a 2-mana hand destruction spell, it's at its absolute worst when you're on the draw and the opponent has curved out playing multiple creatures and they're just trying to beat you to death. Because taking a card from their hand doesn't matter. They just get another turn of beating you down, and all their stuff does the same thing. So it probably doesn't matter that you took a card. So you're just going to die. And that was always the real headache in Dimir of whether or not you play these 2-mana hand disruption spells. The meta had to be particularly slow, and if you went up against a fast deck and they're curving out while you're hitting their hand, you're just dying. But this has the flexibility of being a bounce spell where you need it most, which is to just set back and gain more time against those decks. So it's not a dead card in those matchups. So that's a big deal. I think Dimir mid-range is kind of an untouched deck. It's been a format contender for a very long time, and it likes its instant speed effects. But I think even a deck like that could run 1 or 2 Deceits and be happy. Now, if we start building around a deck like this, so that we're using the evoke abilities early in the game to disrupt and mess with our opponent, and then we use a card like Bloodline Bidding to get all the bodies back in the late game. Now we've got an elemental deck, and I think those are kind of scary. This is a cycle. Every friendly color pair has one of these. Well, not
these
even
are cool.
friendly color pairs, but all the color pairs have a version of this type of effect, and I'll show you. I might get to show you another one. They've got some good breaks put on them. Like in the past, you could flicker this on the stack and you would get the enters abilities again. This doesn't, because when you flicker it, you didn't pay for the blue or the black. Same with reanimation. Reanimation doesn't get you the abilities again, but just getting you a cheap 5/5 monster on top of the effects is also not bad. So I've got hope for Deceit. I want these elementals. I have this weird feeling that at some point in this format, these elementals are going to be like really good.
Okay.
It's easy to give it a 3. It's so easy to give it a 3. And I've given 4s to other kind of modal cards that didn't turn out to be that level of player, like the Virtues from Eldraine. Man, I get got by these all the time. I should give it a 3.
Okay.
I should. Okay. For content, it gets a 4 though. Come on, let's go. They're exciting.
He has to be right. He has to be right.
I mean, I'd rather take shots to be right than be generically boringly right. So give me a 4.
Sure.
Give me
this
a 4. This
definitely feels like
baby.
A mythic. Like I see it's a mythic. This feels like a mythic worthy card. Like this is really cool. This is neat.
Yeah. It's a special boy Deceit here. Oh my goodness. What a special little guy. All right, let's review a few more cards. And now that we've seen some of the mechanics, we definitely know how they interact with those mechanics. So that could be fun.
Sure. Bristlebane Battler. 1 and a green for a 6/6. I imagine that's going to have a bunch of breaks on it. For a Kithkin Soldier. Trample and Ward 2. This creature enters with 5 -1/-1 counters on it. There we go. Very funny with the black card we talked about earlier. The Dissident.
Here we go.
Yeah. Whenever another creature you control enters while this creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, remove a -1/-1 counter from this creature. Another creature you control enters. So the idea is you play this early, and then you're able to then slowly remove the counters from it so that it gets bigger and bigger. Ward is Is it just targeting, or is it even... Oh, it wouldn't be attacking because you could declare blockers. So it's targeting. You have to pay 2, correct? Or it gets countered?
If Battler is targeted by an opponent's spell or ability, they have to pay 2, or that ability or spell gets countered. Yep.
Got it. Okay. Cool synergy with the Dissident from earlier, because this is like a free counter thing, essentially. So then you can really start cooking with that.
Yeah, you want counters? Here's counters.
Yeah, there you go. And and it's cheap too, right? Like you go turn 1 that, turn 2 this. Now you have 5 counters minimum plus the blight counters that you would be putting on anyway. So you get at minimum like a couple activations out of it. So that's cool. That's a thing. And then it just slowly removes the counters from it. I feel like you're just playing this because of like the -1/-1 counters. Like I could be wrong. Because even if it enters, if you reanimate it, it still gets the counters on it. But that could be relevant if you're doing like this thing with the blight, or if there's things that remove counters. I feel like you don't care about anything else on this card. You just care about the fact it gives you 5 counters. That's I feel like the role this card plays.
So what do you think that role comes out to in
terms
Magic
of ranking?
the Gathering? Yeah. Yeah. I know you're not impressed. You're not impressed.
I'm not impressed. I think it's a 2. I think it has like a purpose in like a deck like that, but I think that's the only reason you would play this card is for that. So I'm going to give it a 2.
I'm not sure if I had to, a reason I really wanted to show you this, if I had to guess, is that I don't know if Yu-Gi-Oh player understands how annoying Ward 2 is. It's so annoying.
Okay.
This thing is almost untargetable.
Sure.
Especially early on in Magic, for sure. And when you do finally target it, it feels so bad to target a 2-drop and pay 4 mana, because it's usually like 2 mana is like what it's going to cost you to play a removal spell in this format.
Okay.
It feels so bad to target a 2-drop with 4 mana. And something you may have missed.
Twice in one video.
It's really funny because of the video we just recorded. I don't know when that's coming out, but
yeah.
It doesn't say non-token creature enters.
Oh,
that is a very normal line of text for these effects, is non-token creature for positives like this. So there are cards in the format that are legal right now that for 3 mana make 3 tokens, and they do get played. Okay. And so if you play this for 2 and then that for 3, then you've already removed 3 counters from this. You already have a 2 mana 4/4 Ward 2, which is crazy, which is well above rate. Okay. And like people play terrible. I don't think you understand. There are good decks on Magic Arena Ladder that win games that play 2 mana Ward 2 2/2s with nothing else going for them. Because that's how good Ward 2 is. Now you have a card that you can just pile up with your buffs, and the opponent can't kill it unless they curve out perfectly and have a removal spell to target it. And by the time they do, you probably have ways to protect it or apply more wards to it. So it's like a Voltron, make your little dork into a monster strategy. They play cards way worse than this. I'm like, this might be one of the best 2 mana Ward 2s printed. So that is a pretty exciting thing. And the other big thing I'm excited about it for is this is just a card that can easily remove counters from itself. So if you have positive blights in your deck, and we looked at the Dissident, but I guarantee there are more positive blights in the set. Yeah. If you have positive blights in the set, you can just keep blighting onto this thing, because removing it isn't hard. You just, anytime you make a creature token or put a creature on the board, it removes it. Heck, if we have a card, if we have a creature that when it enters blights something to get a positive effect, the creature entering can stack under the blight so that you get the positive effect, and then the -1/-1 counter goes on here, but then just comes right off because a creature entered. And I know those are in the set. This is another limited motherfucker too. Like the limited cards in this set are stupid, but I think there'll be a standard deck for this guy. I see it. I see the battler murdering some people out here with that. That ward is going to be annoying. This is a 4. This is a slammer dunker for me.
Wow.
This is going to be a best of 1 arena deck. I'm locking it in. Everything's a 4. Right. I love this set. This set's great. I'm all over this set. So yeah.
Conveniently, it's also if Raise the Past is still legal, you know, if you need your counters.
Raise the Past won't get this because in the graveyard it's a 6/6.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was mana value too. I'm sorry.
Maybe bidding on Kifkin or Soldier. Both very good types, by the way. Very popular types.
Sure.
So We'll see. But yeah, bidding with this might also end up being a thing. We don't know. There's too much power here. I'm telling you, there's nothing better than a 2-mana 1/1.
We'll see. I think it's just a counter dork. I think that's all it is. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
I love
like
this
you said,
card.
I think as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, like ward to there's no way we can really have a ward effect unless it's like, oh, to target this card, you have to like discard a card, right?
Yeah.
I don't really think we have effects. Like typically it's just like can't be targeted. Like they'll just straight up, it's binary. It's like you can target it or not. That's it. But
yeah, this was a tactical nuke to get Cimo, the Yu-Gi-Oh player. But let's see if Cimo can comprehend this card. Wah.
Bitter Bloom Bearer. Sick art on this card. 2 and a black for a 1/1 fairy rogue with flash and flying. I already like it because it has flash as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying. So basically on your, well, I guess it could be the end of your turn 2, technically, or the end of your opponent's turn 2. You can flash this in. You get the 1/1, and then it's your upkeep, and then you lose a life and get a thing. And then it just keeps, the gift just keeps on giving. The longer it sticks around, the more little tokens you get.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, there's like a token producer for the last card that we just saw.
Oh yeah,
so
we're gonna play Bitter Bloom Bearer and our Bristlebane Battler,
and then
we'll
in
have
5 turns it'll be a 6/6. It'll
all
be crazy.
of the B words, baby, going off. Yeah,
it's just the B deck. Yeah. Huh. This is a mythic.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Huh. What am I missing here?
You don't think it's very good? That's usually what you say when you're about to say it's not good.
Usually. Because I'm also thinking, why would you show me this? Because that's, you know,
Whoa,
we get into the mind games.
Okay, that is when you really think a card is shit.
Yeah. That's when we get into the mind games.
You think this is bad?
I'm trying to see the vision here. You get a 1/1 every single turn.
Not impressed.
Like,
you don't think that wins games?
Okay, I'm really trying here. Okay, hold on. Let me cook.
He doesn't.
Let me cook.
He really thinks I'm trolling right now. You do,
Let me
don't
cook.
you? You think I'm trolling?
So you get a free thing to blight every turn. I guess that's a thing. So like you have a free on the Dissident, you can surveil 1 every single turn by just sacking the token off. So okay. If your opponent leaves it around, you just keep getting 1/1s. You can flash it in, but like aside from just doing it so that it like guarantees you get a token for 1 turn, that's fine. Because it's essentially a 2-mana 2/2 at that rate. I think you broke me with this one. I'm not gonna lie. I think you broke me with this one.
Okay, then rate it.
I'm still trying to figure, like, there's got to be something I'm missing with this.
I mean,
the fact that it's
in no context on its own, we're talking about 2-mana 1/1 that makes more 1/1s the longer it sticks around, and it has flash, so
sure.
You get to respond. You get to basically hold up interaction and get this out at a time when you're almost sure to at least get a 1/1.
At least get a 1/1.
Right?
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
There's not a lot of trick to it. I'm not trying to. Are fairies supported? Yes. Is having fairies good? Yes. But is there a card that is like 1 mana, draw 5 cards if you control a fairy? No. So okay. I'm not trying to get you with something like that.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to think like even if it's so slow, but then I'm like, okay, it's okay. You get like an extra. I have to remember also in your game that you don't have to block. Like you can choose to just take the face damage. So you can slowly like build up an army. I guess for anything that convokes, that could be relevant because then like you're slowly getting more tokens and then you can like convoke into bigger stuff maybe. Especially if you have like 2, right? If you have like 2 of these, then it's like you're getting 2 every turn. And then it's like, okay, like you're kind of getting somewhere. But I feel like you still just lose to any board wipe that deals 1 damage to everything. I guess the fact that it's... Okay, here's an interesting question. The fact that it's blue-black with the thing that had Vivid that generates you mana, does that count as 2? Because it's 2 colors?
It's not blue-black, though. It's just black. Oh, you're talking about the blue and black fairy creature token. That is 2 colors, yes. So
would the Bloom Tender give you 3 mana then?
It would give you for blue, black, and green, so yes.
Right, okay. So that's I guess, a synergy. I'm going to say this card is shit, and you're going to say this is like the best card in the set, and I'm going to look like an absolute moron.
It's a 1?
It's not a 1. Like, I think it's... I don't think it's a 1 bad. Like, I think it's okay, but, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, why.
To you? Like, what level is shit to you?
I'm going to give it a... You know what? For content, I'll give it a 1.
Oh, my
For content,
God.
I'm going to give it a 1. For content, I'm going to give it a 1. Ooh. I think it's... There's something here... There's something here, and my 500 IQ Yu-Gi-Oh brain just can't understand why this card is good. So I'm going to let the 600 IQ CGB enlighten me as to why this card is insane. I can't see it. I really can't.
The magic boomers are exploding. They're exploding. Oh, Cimo. It makes a 1/1 that makes 1/1s. Okay. Let me show you a card. This card was from original Lorwyn. Lorwyn.
Bitter Blossom. Oh, okay. Is this okay? Sure. 1 and a black for a tribal enchantment fairy. Does that matter at all, or is that just like a thing?
It means it counts as a fairy on the board and in the graveyard. So if you have something that counts the number of fairies you have, it does add to that count. Yeah, it's an interesting card type. It is technically card type fairy, which is its own card type. Yeah,
interesting.
Tribal,
so if there's things that are like
tribal is a card type. It is a they have a name for it that I'm blanking on, a macro type or something that is enchantment, artifact, super type. Enchantment, artifact, planeswalker, creature. These are land, like these are super types, and tribal is one of them.
Oh, cool. Okay. Anyway, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with fly. Okay, so it's basically the same thing, but it's an enchantment.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is kind of like that. Do you like it?
And
do you think it's good?
I mean, the art's really beautiful.
Thanks. Do you think it's good?
I'm not seeing it. I'll be honest with you. I'm really not.
Card was like the best of its time.
Are you serious?
Best in class format shattering card. Yeah,
there's
still is pretty good.
Way.
Yeah, it still is decent commander. Yeah, it's kind of not in competitive commander, but it's decent commander. But in standard, it was a monster.
When was this originally printed?
Oh God, don't do that. Don't do that. It may have been 18 years ago.
18 years ago.
Yep. So you see what they're going for with the bearer. You know
this card is.
You know what they're here for. You know they're bringing it.
Oh my God, this card is legal. Oh my God,
they're selling back that nostalgia, baby.
They are. Oh, they are doing the nostalgia. They're doing the member berries. Okay, please. You need to go on like a gigantic journey for me to explain this one.
Explaining to do is what you're going to say. Yeah. All right. I will in a second, but I think it's even funnier to show Bitter Bloom Bearer. They so believe in this card. It is the chase card, the serialized card of the set.
The serialized card. Wow. Okay. See, like, when you tell me 18 years ago that Bitter Blossom was good, like, okay, Magic 18 years, like, it's like when I show you a Yu-Gi-Oh card, it's like, oh yeah, like in 2003, this card would have been good. So 18 years ago, like, I can maybe see an argument for it, but now, okay, go ahead, enlighten me. I've got my drink. I'm ready. I'm fully attentive. I want to know the story behind this.
Back in the day, the idea was pretty simple. You get down the Bitter Blossom, and then you just use flash speed, removal, and counter spells and tempo cards that like just tap all your opponent's stuff for a turn, and you win. That was fairies.
Because they have flying?
I mean, flying is helpful, but just getting something for nothing every turn, the payoff over time. So the early turns in Magic were so much less valuable in this era of Standard than they are currently or in any other format, really, other than maybe Limited. So if you just threw down Bitter Blossom on turn 2 and then proceeded to play control spells that drag the game out to a 6 or 7 game affair and 7 turn affair, and now you've received 5 flyers off this Bitter Blossom, like for the 2 mana investment of 1 card early, it eventually will win the game. Like,
what's the timing on that? Okay, so you play this on turn 2. So turn 3, you get 1 fairy. I'm trying to count how many turns it takes before you kill your opponent this way. So it's 1.
It doesn't matter if your deck is about stalling, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'm going to figure out the math on this.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it does not, you do not die first. I think that's something that is also very missed is a 1/1 flying blocker is a really good blocker. And most of your opponent is like, your opponent's building their deck around creatures that are hitting for like 3, 4, 5, things like that. If those creatures don't have trample and you're blocking with a Bitter Blossom, you reduce the damage that you take to 1. Like from each of these things. So it is reminiscent of an old Magic card that didn't get reprinted called Force Field. Force Field was an artifact that said each of the things that your opponent hits you with, each of their creatures, only deals you 1 damage instead of the normal damage. So Bitter Blossom.
Okay.
Yeah, Bitter Blossom just making 1/1s to constantly block also helped with the stall tactic as well, but eventually would overpower and win the game. I think that what's even more exciting about Bitter Bloom Bearer is that it does come on a body right away. Enchantments are harder to remove and creatures die easier, but that also means you can get out of the lose 1 life thing easier, but that's not really what you're here for. The fact that it's already a body that attacks, that makes more bodies that attacks, and that it has flash means that you can play it when your opponent's tapped out, when their shields are down.
Sure.
You make sure that you're getting the bodies off it. Now your mana is up so you can protect it and interact with your opponent, play counter spells. And this card lives in the format.
Before I even read this card, it's interesting because my thought was, after you showed me Bitter Blossom, I thought Bitter Blossom was better in the sense because it was an enchantment. Because the fact that this is a creature, and again, Yu-Gi-Oh player, we have like removal on top of removal for everything. My mind is like, oh, this just dies. And then it's like, okay, sure, maybe you flashed it in when they're tapped out and then you got 1 thing out of it. Then next turn, just kill the Bitter Bloom Bearer. And then it's like, okay, you stop the problem, right? Whereas being an enchantment, it seemed a lot more difficult to deal with. But anyway, the card you sent me was Enduring Curiosity, 2 and 2 blue for a 4/3 cat glimmer. Okay. Which has flash and says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player. Oh, you get to draw a card. Now I'm interested, CGB. Now I'm interested.
Curiosity has been a good card and a foundational card in Dimir Tempo that's been pretty good deck. Like, it has always lurked near the top, but somehow always avoided getting banned. Like,
now.
And meow. This card with Bitter Bloom Bearer is kind of beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really is.
Okay.
And I'm not going to show you some of the other cards in the deck, like Kaito, because it's basically more like good stuff with flash creatures. The whole deck is built around flash. It really is. And this card really does look ready to just go into it and become an absolute menace. I mean, they were playing a card called Fabloom Trick. Like, this is a card that I thought was a limited card. Let me show you a card that Dimir Tempo has been playing, and you can tell me if this is better or worse than Bitter Bloom Bearer, because, oh my gosh, what a little card.
Fabloom Trick is a 2 and a blue for an instant. Create 2 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying when you do tap target creature and opponent controls. No, I still think the Bitter Bloom Bear is better than this, but they're already playing this is your point. I get it. Okay, sure.
They've been playing this card a little bit in their tempo build. So yeah, they're going to welcome this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think I think it is a little tricky to grasp like the incremental over several turns, like free 1/1-ness of it all. Wizards has tried over the years to reprint the nostalgia of Bitter Blossom again and again, because it was such a big card in its day. And they've printed a version that was white that made creatures that couldn't block. Turned out that card was terrible because they couldn't block. Because a big thing about the Blossom is that you can then turn around and play defense when you need to, basically reducing every opponent creature that doesn't have trample into something that only hits for 1. Like that's actually really good. So I think the Bearer is going to bring that back. And yeah, I think this is a 4. I think this is a locked in 4.
Can I steal your video?
Bring it.
We have Bitter Blossom in Yu-Gi-Oh!
You have Bitter Blossom at home, a jam breeding machine.
Read it.
Jam breeding machine. This is the name of a card in your game. This is a spell card with speed duel, whatever that means. Once per turn during your standby phase, special summon 1 slime token. It is 500 attack, 500 defense, water level 1. In attack position, you cannot summon any monsters except slime tokens, but you can set. Fine.
It's Bitter Blossom. We have Bitter Blossom in our game.
It's not Bitter Blossom.
What do you mean? It summons tokens. It's Bitter Blossom.
But you can play other cards. I know. Dude, if Bitterblue Bear or Bitter Blossom had a line of text that you couldn't summon anything, they'd be pretty bad.
But you were saying like, oh, you just attack them with the tokens, right? Yeah. And then you just bounce all their other stuff. You don't need to summon. You just have the tokens. You just attack with the slime tokens. It killed us. It's Bitter Blossom.
You Yu-Gi-Oh players just have not mastered the art of the 20-turn game, because if we take me back to Counterpost, we learned a long time ago in Magic, if you just make something every turn while destroying everything and stopping everything the opponent does, something will eventually beat nothing. Eventually. Jesus. Jam breeding machine.
That's what they call inevitability. Yeah.
And we know how to use that.
No, we don't.
I guess those of you who play the maze, like the mine, the Mystic Mine, they get it. That's the inevitability. That's the only way to beat something right there. I
never thought I'd have the opportunity to show you Jam Breeding Machine, but here we are.
Honestly, today is better because of it, and I look forward to the Bearer. I look forward to the Bearer getting work done. This will be a fun take in the future to revisit, because you might also be right. It has been 18 fucking years since Bitter Blossom.
Exactly. That's like the way I'm looking at this. This just reads like an older card that Yu-Gi-Oh does this all the time, where they try to retrain an old card and it just sucks. Like it's too aged out. And I hope I'm right, because everyone watching this is going to laugh at me to be like, oh, this is a 1. And then I hope I'm right just because it'd be funny. But
if this serialized card is worth less than $500 this time next year, you won. You absolutely won.
I will give it. The art is incredible. I'll give it that. I'm not going to take away from that, but we'll see. Ooh,
it's going to be a tasty take. A tasty take. I don't know if I can top it. I probably shouldn't try, but what the hell? We're here. You're here. We can do one more.
Formidable Speaker. This is 2 and a green for a 2/4 elf druid. Lots of elves and druids, I guess. When this creature enters, you may discard a card. If you do, search your library for a creature, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. Whoa! It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's great.
Evaluation done. Completed.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
For 1 and tapping this, you can untap another target permanent. Interesting. This seems really good. I don't know. I mean, okay, it enters, you discard, who cares? And then you get to get any card from, or any creature from your deck and just put it into your hand. Like, this is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. This is great. If this doesn't see play in Standard, this is Commander written all over it. This card rocks. This card rocks. I hope this card sees play. 4.
This card might be busted. This card
really? What gives you that impression, CCP?
I know. I play way too much Best of One, and I'm aware of that. And in Best of One, Reanimator is a really good strategy. I think this is the 4th time I've talked about it in this video. Yes. But especially since Standard went to 3 sets, like and 7 sets a year, now gigantic, like 3 times what it used to be card pool, Reanimator in Best of One particularly has been really good, like really good, because there's always amazing cards to reanimate and always spells that get the job done.
Yep.
Like this card is so stupid in Reanimator.
This is insane. This is insane.
You discard the big monster and you search your library for the creature card. Guess what the current reanimation spell of choice is?
A creature.
It's called Superior Spider-Man.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a creature.
Perfect.
Because it copies the enter text. So now you can chuck your Bringer of the New Dawn or Valgavoth or whatever into the bin with the speaker and just go get the Superior Spider-Man, which, by the way, the only reasonable fail state for the deck, like your only chance if you didn't have graveyard interaction or weren't an all-in aggro deck, your only chance was that maybe they didn't draw their 4 copies, one of their 4 copies of Superior Spider-Man on time every game. Now they have 8 copies of the damn card, just right there. But we're not done.
I love it.
Just making sure your combo happens isn't that meaningful. This also dumps something in the yard that you want to get. I mentioned that. But what if you already have the Superior Spider-Man in hand and a graveyard you want to get, but you have a Formidable Speaker? Well, now you dump any other card, you go through your deck, you get Deceit. And you use Deceit to make sure the coast is clear. So the opponent's interaction doesn't exist. You go get Voice of Victory. Yeah. You go get Voice of Victory so that they can't play anything on your turn. And you give them the middle finger on their way to the losers bracket. It's...
you're learning. See, now this is a quality Magic card. Forget Bitter Bloom Bearer. Forget Bitter Blossom. Formidable Speaker. I welcome you.
100% stupid busted card. And I'm only talking about it in Reanimator. There are plenty of 30+ creature Badger Mole Cub decks that this goes in. Go get another Badger Mole Cub. Play that. Why not? Now with 2 cubs on the field, your land taps for 2 mana. So use your 3 mana. So use your Formidable Speaker to untap the land for 1 mana, ramping you even further.
Not to mention, you can flicker it because it's an enter effect. So then that way you can bounce it and keep doing it. What a quality Magic card. Yep. This is the type of card you should be showing me.
You can play a clone, discard a card, search for another clone, play that clone, discard another card, search for another clone, and you can turn anything in your hand into an army of Formidable Speakers on the spot.
You can play it turn 2 because you go turn 1 Llanowar Elves and you play this. Yep.
What could be bad about that? What are they doing? And not only that, some Magic player named John Emmanuel Duprat, because he won the world championship, put his name on and likeness on this card, and they get a little consulting on like what card they pick. So typically the world champion card, as this is like probably the 5th or 6th of these, is good. It's usually not a dud very often.
Sure, because they want it to be played. I get it. Yeah.
So that it's an indicator already that this isn't going to suck, because they're giving it some amount of context about the formats this is getting played in, and they're the best Magic players in the world. So they're not absolute ass when it comes to evaluating Magic cards like me. And this just says, what are we doing? Like, tutors this free in this color on a specific type with another ability. By the way, it's a 2/4. It's not a 1/1. This would have been a 1/1 in every other printing in Magic history. It's a 2/4. It can block. It can do things. What are we doing?
Even if it was a 1/1, it would still be just as good. The stats don't even matter. Like, it's still just insane otherwise.
I'm going to do what we did in your video, which is we're going to expand on what level 5 is. Level 5 isn't necessarily this card gets banned. Level 5 is it gets a card banned.
Got it. Okay.
Like other decks are usually fine until something gets printed, but they don't always ban that card. They ban the other older, less played card, right? That happens. They tried it with Vivi, didn't work out. But Formidable Speaker here, I believe, gets a card banned this year. Something's got to go. This is too much consistency in Magic, too fast in a color combination that goes burr already. There's no way.
I don't know though. The problem is it's like it's so open-ended. Like, okay, get something banned, right? There's probably a next best thing that's like just as good, if not slightly worse. That it's like, okay, you're gonna ban that.
As long as that is slightly worse than one other deck in the field, as long as it's not as good as Izzet Lessons, they'll be fine with it.
Yu-Gi-Oh had this problem. I don't want to say the card because if we ever do a video on it, I don't want you to know. But there was a
gasser, huh?
Where there was a point where there were so many good cards that this card synergized with, but it was new and Konami didn't want to ban the new card. They're like, okay, we're going to ban the old card. Okay, we're going to ban another old card. Okay, we're going to ban another. They literally, like, it was, you know, the Grim Reaper meme where he's like knocking on the door, like just killing one thing after the next with each door. It was like that. And eventually they did ban like the actual problem, but it took them forever because obviously they want to get their money out of the set. And so, yeah, like I've seen the same problem is going to happen with this card.
This will get banned a month before rotation. They'll finally ban this card.
Exactly. Like I see that's the fault here, but what a quality Magic card, man! You guys got some bangers. I like it.
The fact that you like it means it's already broken.
Exactly.
It's already over. We're cooked.
That's why it's a red flag. Remember Badger Bowl Cub, I was 100% right on. So here we go again.
That card is still on the chopping block for me, but thank God this isn't a mythic. That's about the only saving grace. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lorwyn. It's busted.
It seems fun though. These cards seem great.
Hell yeah. I think Lorwyn's going to be a fun set. It'll probably be one of the best like Magic IP sets of the year. This isn't even scratching the surface of all the cards I want to show you. There's a lot of good cards. A lot.
Well, maybe we'll have part 2 next time. We'll see.